Is Leicester Fainga'anuku the wildcard the All Blacks absolutely must hold on to? The Bees who just stormed back into Test rugby in Perth after nearly 2 years away and reminded everyone exactly what raw power and relentless energy looked like in the modern game. His comeback wasn't just another player filling a vacant spot, it was a statement. A reminder that there's still a place for brute force, for explosive speed, and for players who can turn a quiet match into a collision zone. This isn't just about a test match, it's about a player who could define the balance of power in the All Blacks backline if they choose to back him the way he deserves. Leicester Offa Ki Wales Twickenham Fainga'anuku, yes, that's his full name, was born on October 11th, 1999 in Nuku'alofa, Tonga. He grew up in Nelson, New Zealand after his family moved there when he was a child, and he quickly stood out as a kid built differently from everyone else. At Nelson College, he developed his reputation as a powerhouse who could run through defenders like they were training cones. His father had played international rugby for Tonga, so the game was already in his blood. But Leicester wasn't following in anyone's footsteps. He was carving his own path. When he broke into the Tasman Mako side in the National Provincial Championship, it didn't take long for Super Rugby scouts to take notice. The Crusaders snapped him up, and from there, the rise was fast. In Christchurch, surrounded by legends and coached under one of the most structured systems in rugby, Fainga'anuku found the perfect environment to refine his raw power into precision. He learned how to use his size, when to time his runs, and how to balance raw aggression with technical accuracy. Standing at 188 centimetres tall and weighing around 108 kilograms, he's built like a loose forward but moves like a winger. A mix of strength and agility has always made him different. For the Crusaders, he was a consistent finisher. From 2019 through to 2023, he became one of Super Rugby's most reliable try scorers, delivering when it mattered most. He didn't just score tries in open space, he bulldozed through defenders on the gain line and finished from impossible angles. That blend of speed and power earned him the All Blacks debut in 2022, and from that moment, fans could see what he brought to the black jersey. In a backline often filled with finesse and flair, Leicester was the hammer. The kind of player who doesn't dance around a defender, he just runs straight through them. But just as things were taking off, life threw a curveball. After the 2023 Rugby World Cup, Fainga'anuku signed with Toulon in France's top 14 competition. It was a big move, both financially and personally. Playing overseas made him ineligible for the All Blacks selection under New Zealand Rugby's current rules. And for a while, it looked like we might not see him back in the black jersey again. Some fans wrote him off. Others thought the move would soften his edge. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Toulon gave him something different. Exposure to one of the most physical, demanding competitions in the world. In France, the collisions are brutal. The defences are tighter and the pace relentless. If anything, it added another layer to his game. Still, as 2025 rolled around and he returned home, questions hung in the air. Could he still compete at test level? Would he be the same player who used to flatten defenders for fun? Then, the injuries started stacking up in the All Blacks squad. Caleb Clarke, one of New Zealand's key wingers, was ruled out with an ankle injury before the Perth test against the Wallabies. And just like that, an opportunity opened. Scott Robinson made the call that surprised a few but excited many. Leicester Fainga'anuku was back in black. When that selection was announced, the reaction online was instant. Some people thought it was a gamble, bringing in a player who hadn't played a test since the World Cup. Others were pumped. Finally, the All Blacks had someone who they could bring raw muscle back to the wing. And when Leicester ran into the field in Perth, you could almost feel the energy ripple through the team. His first carry, classic Fainga'anuku. Low body position, full power, metres gained. You could tell straight away that he hadn't come back to ease in. He came to make a statement. Now let's be clear, his game in Perth wasn't just about flashy statements or viral moments. He didn't score a try and he didn't break the internet with a solo run. But what he did do was exactly what the All Blacks needed. He soaked up contact, drew in defenders and gave the All Blacks an edge in collisions that the All Blacks simply couldn't match. His defensive reads were sharp, his positioning steady, and when the game turned physical, which it always does against Australia, he thrived. It wasn't a superstar comeback filled with fireworks. It was the kind of gritty, disciplined, hard-hitting performance that coaches love and teammates trust. And that's often what keeps you in the squad. Think about this. The All Blacks already had plenty of speed and step in the backline. Will Jordan, Leroy Carter and Caleb Clark. They bring flash and finesse. But what Fainga'anuku offers is power, versatility and presence. He can play on the wing or slide into centre where needed, given the selector's flexibility. He's a weapon in tight matches where conditions are heavy and meters are hard to come by. That kind of player doesn't just help you win easy games, he helps you grind out the tough ones. If you look at the raw numbers, the story backs that up. In Super Rugby, his try-scoring rate was one of the best in the competition. For the Crusaders, he crossed the line more than 30 times across his seasons. And in provincial rugby for Tasman, he was often the difference between winning and losing close games. He has that unique combination of balance and acceleration that makes defenders hesitate. And that split-second hesitation is all a finisher like him needs. Physically, he's a nightmare matchup. At 108 kilograms, he can truck through most wings. And at 188 centimetres, he's tall enough to contest high balls effectively, which is something the All Blacks have sometimes lacked in the modern kicking game. But his game isn't perfect, and he'd be the first one to admit that. One of the challenges he faces is being disciplined and positioning, sometimes getting caught too far in on defence or overcoming to the breakdown. These aren't fatal flaws, but at test level, small mistakes can cost big moments. After time away from international rugby, the question isn't about whether he's strong enough or fast enough. It's about timing, communication, and adapting again to the All Blacks' pace and systems. But if Perth was an indication, he's already on track to get the rhythm back quickly. The competition for his position is fierce. Caleb Clark in good form, Leroy Carter continues to prove his worth, and younger talents are always waiting for their chance. But that's what makes Fainga'anuku so valuable. He's a different type of player. In matches where the All Blacks need to dominate physically, few players can bring the same impact. He's like having a loose forward on the wing, someone who can win the contact battle, secure the gain line, and turn broken play into front football. In modern Test rugby, that is gold. The other main factor that makes Fainga'anuku indispensable is his attitude. He's humble but hungry. You never hear him boasting, never hear him chasing headlines. His approach has always been about proving himself through actions, not words. When asked about returning to the All Blacks, he said it felt like coming home. You can sense that it doesn't take the jersey for granted, and that's exactly the type of mindset that builds championship teams. Players like him are glue between the stars. They do the hard yards, the unforeseen work, the grunt that doesn't always show up in highlight reels but wins matches when it matters most. The reality is, if New Zealand lets him drift away again, they'll lose one of the most complete physical backs in the game. There aren't many players who can cover multiple positions, dominate in contact, and still deliver under pressure like he does. His return adds a new dimension to the All Blacks attack and gives the team a physical edge that can make the difference in the upcoming series and tournaments. He's not just another option, he's a necessity. Ever wanted to create your own rugby highlights channel just like this one? With my course, the YouTube Creator Toolkit, I show you exactly how I do it, from the tools I use to the templates I built. You get everything. Just copy, paste, and start creating. Learn how to grow your channel, keep viewers hooked, and turn views into income. Click the link in the description below to learn more and start your channel today. Now back to the video. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more All Blacks insights, player deep dives, and rugby stories that go beyond the scoreboard, make sure to like this video, share it with your mates, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Peace!